Oh. Well, let's head on outside. Greetings, travelers. This is Jim at the Mid-Nite Drive-Thru, and welcome back to Fallout 4 PermaDeath. From the sounds of it, there she is. Looks like Piper met us here, so that's good. I don't have any interest in getting Preston to give me stuff to do right now. Let's see. I'm going to pick up a few items that I might need on the road. And wow, that music is loud. I might just go ahead and turn that down. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it as it is for now. Yeah, you may notice that it's still doing that one-off thing. I don't understand that. HP in here shows one less than the true health counter, which is showing 25 and 16 rads, which is what it should be showing. But yeah, my inventory now shows a much higher capacity because of the benefits of the Spouse's Embrace, which is the wedding ring that I was wearing, which now has additional capabilities because I am inspired. And for the time being, I'm going to leave Piper here and just kind of head out. I have gassed up the car with some of the nuclear material I've picked up here, there, and everywhere. So let's go for a ride. And Diamond City's where I want to start off. I like that. Okay, so we just kind of rudely plunked our ride down right in front of the main gate to Diamond City here, so how's that for convenient? Now, I wonder, do I have any stuff in Hangman's Alley? Oh, yes. Wanted to see if there was anything of value in here. Well, can I just take all? See, that's how you do it. Having that low carry capacity is just ridiculous. It makes it a chore to play. So, the things that I was irritated about in survival mode were principally the ridiculously low carry capacity, no fast travel, and no saves. So we have dealt with all of those, but still have the difficulty of survival mode. So I'm pretty happy with that compromise. And now I can kind of use...
I can't believe I'm posted outside the wall. Who the heck did I piss off?
Somebody important, probably. Yeah, so now I can use storage in the car. Unfortunately, because it's not a workbench, it doesn't give you the simple, quick option of store junk, but I think we got the general idea. Alright. So now let's just run inside Diamond City, because there were two things I wanted to do. I want to see if I could get any more ammo for these weapons. Because I like the high-powered stuff, but ammo is hard to come by. And then the other thing is I'd like to get started on tracking down my family. And according to Piper, there's a detective in Diamond City who can help us with that. So let's go and do that. Alright, well, apparently Piper didn't bring Nat with her, so that's unfortunate.
Park the car in the yard. How about I hammer you in the heart with a haymaker?
Look, if other people give you a hard time about your accent, that's none of mine, all right? Don't put that on me.
Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here.
We can talk about guns, or maybe you want to consider something more up close and personal.
Well, what I'd like to do first is put on my charisma gear so I can get my best prices with you, although, you know.
I've got a few minutes to browse.
Something for everyone.
That guy over my shoulder looked a little bit sketchy. Oh, come on. 3? That's all we got? Alright, well, 6 rounds of this. That's better than nothing, I guess. Yes, that'll work nicely. See, what are you doing hovering over me?
Yes, I see what you've got in your pockets there. It's what? Oh, you noticed me. Sorry, I'll look over here for a minute.
Yeah, get away from me.
Against raiders.
Fruit.
Got a lot of options here.
Hey, Myrna.
Hey, Myrna.
Remember, I don't serve sense. Supplies are just for humans.
Let's see what you have.
She freaks out and blows my head off.
Okay, Myrna, I assure you I am a human.
Well, there she goes, crazy Myrna. Crazy Myrna. Yeah. Ooh, 16, that's good. 16 is good. Got you down to 1 cap. That's good. I'll take that. Considering I don't really have much of loot on me at the moment, that'll do just fine. So, from here...
Hey, swatter, 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 swatter! Swing, swatter!
Don't walk outside the wall undefended. High quality protection for sale.
You guys crack me up. Alright, now warning. This is a particular part of the universe that sometimes breaks. It just does. I can't help it. Alright, we're doing good. Let's get into it. Let's see if we can get this, enlist the aid of this private detective. Pardon me, ma'am. Is the detective here? Case file. Cybernol. Look into this new drug that seems to be taking hold of this place. Cybernol, the kids are calling it, seems to turn anyone on it into a super intelligent, highly perceptive blah 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 blah. Okay. That sounds interesting.
Something wrong?
Another stray coming in from the rain.
It's actually sunny out.
Afraid you're too late. Office is closed.
Hmm? Why is the neon sign still on then? Seriously, it's kind of important.
I know you must be busy, but I won't take much of your time, miss. It's important.
You don't get it. The detective, he's gone. Missing.
Any clues as to where he went?
Do you have any idea how I could find him?
He disappeared working a case. Skinny Malone's gang had kidnapped a young woman, and he tracked them down to their hideout in Park Street Station. There's an old vault down there they use as a base. I told Nick he was walking into a trap, but he just smiled and walked out the door like he always does.
Alright, well. You know, even with my charisma gear on, I couldn't pass the previous one, so I'm not even going to bother. So just, hey, I will help. Park Street Station, just kind of point me in the right direction.
You have my word.
Thank you. Nick should be easy to spot. He's always wearing that old hat and trench coat getup. Please, hurry.
Old hat, check. Every hat that anyone in this world is wearing is an old hat. Trench coat, okay, that's a little more distinctive, but not a lot. Maybe you could mention, spoilers, that he's a freaking robot. Distinguishing features. It's like when on the news they say some young youths assaulted someone. Well, maybe a little bit of a physical description might help us pick them out of a crowd. Okay, fine. Yeah, oh, I was going to do that music. Yeah. Because the swelling music is too much. Yeah, do that. Okay, so we need to find Nick. Well, we can do that. Sure. Sure we can. Probably. Yada-da-da.
Nice piece you got there. Just keep it holstered.
It is. People always giving me
about that,
sass.
Solomon?
Hey, look at this guy. Look at this guy here standing on the table. You feeling more adventurous by standing on the table? You hoping to get your feet massaged up there? What is wrong with you? All right, I think I probably just need to get out of town. You know, townies, they make me crazy. Why? Oh. The hunger has kicked in. All right, so we'll leave the car here. These primitives will probably build a cult around it while we're gone. So anyway, yeah, that's it. Let's get a bite to eat. Let's and switch into our best combat gear while we're at it. Yeah. Yeah, would you like some baked bloatfly? Well, sure. How about a crispy squirrel bit? No, let's eat a red steak. There you go. Now you're cooking with gas. Something. Oh, I got nothing to trade with you.
So many flavors of mayhem for sale.
Well, but still, you might have some ammo.
Come on. Get your guns here. Small booms, big booms. I got them all.
All right. Settle down. She is one crazy lady. Switch back into the charisma gear quickly, and let's see if you got any ammo.
I'll take a look.
That's
Sure.
all I want.
Guns and more guns.
Guns
Just
and more
for
guns.
you.
Yes. Well, you got 6. 6 of the bullets I'm looking for. That's pathetic. Just gonna go ahead and accept that. I don't really have anything else, and I don't want to run back to the car. So, switching back again. There we go. And we're on our way.
Get old in this job is soon everyone's out.
So we've got our weapon that has tons of ammo, but it isn't particularly powerful. And we have the good gun, which is really nice. And then we have the super good gun, but it's slower. So between those, we should be all right. Now, how do I want to do this? I probably... Park Street Station is in this general direction. And we have kind of already gone this way for other reasons, but everything has changed now. We don't need to feel that way anymore. Right? And instead of veering off to the tower... Alright, I hear music. Shut up, 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 shut up. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You know, if we are going to have some radio, let's turn on the old Mercury Theater. Nothing? Alright.
Next Monday night at this same time, the Lux Radio Theater will resume its series of broadcasts over the same stations as last year. The first presentation will be Spawn of the North, with George Raft, Fred McMurray, John Barrymore, Dorothy Lamour, and Akeem Tamirov. Remember the first broadcast next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. The Mercury Theater on the air.
Columbia Broadcasting System takes pleasure in presenting Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the air in the 9th and last of a unique summer series of Monday evening broadcasts. A series which has marked radio's first presentation of a complete theatrical producing company. Again tonight, the regularly affiliated stations of the Columbia Broadcasting System are joined for this program by a coast-to-coast network of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. This evening, our play is Mr. Welles' own adaptation of G.K. Chesterton's famous novel, The Man Who Was Thursday. But just before it begins, here is the director of the Mercury Theater, the star and producer of these broadcasts, Orson Welles.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. G.K.C. Gilbert Keith Chesterton, greatly articulate Roman convert and liberal, has been dead now for 2 years. For a unique brand of common sense enthusiasm, for a singular gift of paradox, for a deep reverence and a high wit, and most of all for a free and shamelessly beautiful English prose, he will never be forgotten. It must be wonderful to be famous. According to the story, that's what the young lady said to the fat man, the fabulously fat, the fantastic, the famous fat man, when he took her to lunch at a fashionable restaurant and everybody turned and stared. Tell me, she said, do people always recognize you? Does everybody always know who you are? Well, my dear, said Mr. Chesterton, if they don't, they ask. Mr. Chesterton's The Man Who Was Thursday is a little like that. Roughly speaking, it's about anarchists. It was written, remember, in the boom of bomb throwing in those radical, irresponsible days of the nihilists. And roughly speaking, it's a mystery story. It can be guaranteed that you will never guess the solution until you get to the end. It is even feared that you may not guess it then. You may never guess what The Man Who Was Thursday is about, but definitely, if you don't, you'll ask. I am Gabriel Syme. I am the man who was Thursday. That particular evening, if it is remembered for nothing else, will be remembered in that place for its strange sunset. It looked like the end of the world. It may be remembered by others, too, because it marked the first appearance in the place of the second poet of Saffron Park. For a long time, a red-haired revolutionary had reigned without a rival. It was upon the night of the sunset that I, Gabriel Syme, ended his solitude.
Mr. Syme, you say you are a poet of law. I say you are a contradiction in terms. An artist is identical with an anarchist.
Mr. Gregory, it is things going right that is poetical. Our digestions, for instance, going sacredly and silently right. The most poetical thing in the world is not being sick.
Really, Mr. Syme, the examples you choose...
I beg your pardon, Mr. Gregory. I forgot we had abolished all conventions.
You don't expect me to revolutionize society on this law?
Oh, no, I don't, but I suppose that if you were serious about your anarchism, that is exactly what you would do.
Don't you think, then, that I'm serious about my anarchism?
I beg your pardon.
Am I not serious about my anarchism?
I strolled away and left Gregory, but with surprise and with a curious pleasure, I found a red-headed young lady still in my company. It was Rosamond, Gregory's sister.
Mr. Syme, do the people who talk like you and my brother often mean what they say? Do you mean what you say now?
My dear Miss Gregory, when you say thank you for the salt, do you mean what you say? No. When you say the world is round, do you mean what you say? No, it's quite true, but you don't mean it.
Is he really an anarchist, then?
Only in that sense I speak of, or if you prefer it, in that nonsense.
He wouldn't really use bombs, would that?
Oh, good Lord, no. That has to be done anonymously. I strolled with her to a seat in the corner of the garden, and I defended respectability with violence and exaggeration. I grew passionate in my praise of tidiness and propriety. All the time there was a smell of lilac around me, and once I heard, very faintly in some distant street, a barrel organ begin to play, and it seemed to me that my heroic words were moving to a tiny tune from under or beyond the world. In the wild events which were to follow, this girl had no part at all. I never saw her again until all my tale was over. And yet in some indescribable way, she kept recurring like a motive in music through all those mad adventures afterwards. And the glory of her strange hair ran like a red thread through those dark and ill-drawn tapestries of the night. For what followed was so improbable that it might well have been a dream. When I left the party and went out into the starlit street, I found Gregory waiting for me.
Mr. Syme.
Mr. Gregory.
This evening you succeeded in doing something rather remarkable. You did something to me that no man has ever succeeded in doing before. You irritated me.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
There is only one way by which that insult can be erased, and that way I choose. I am going at the possible sacrifice of my life and honor to prove to you that you are wrong in what you said.
In what I said?
You said I was not serious about being an anarchist. Mr. Syme, may I ask you to swear by whatever gods or saints your religion involves that you will not reveal what I am now going to tell you to any son of Adam, and especially not to the police? Will you swear that? If you will consent to burden your soul with a vow that you should never make and a knowledge you should never dream about, I will promise you in return...
You will promise me in return...
I will promise you a very entertaining evening.
Your offer is far too idiotic to be declined. You say that a poet is always an anarchist. I disagree, but I hope at least that he is always a sportsman. Permit me here and now to swear that as a Christian, and to promise as a good comrade and a fellow artist, that I will not report any of this, whatever it is, to the police. And now, what is it?
I think that we will take a cab.
The cab pulled up before a particularly dreary and greasy beer shop. We seated...
Hang on a second. I love this! Gonna head inside Huber's Comics because there's a... another one of the mods that I got. Normally in the game, your ability to add ballistic weave as a plug-in, a mod for your armor, your clothing, is only allowed once you have done a certain amount of work with the railroad. But if I possibly don't intend on siding with the railroad today, then that would be unavailable. This mod allows you to get it once you reach level 10, and the recipe is in Huber's Comics. So that's where we're going.
Ourselves in a close and dim sort of bar parlor at a stained wooden table with one wooden leg.
Mr. Syme, if in a few moments this table begins to turn around a little, please don't put it down to the champagne. I don't wish you to do yourself an injustice.
Well, if I'm not drunk, I'm mad, but I trust I can behave like a gentleman in either situation. May I smoke?
Certainly, try one of mine.
I took the cigar and started to light it almost before I had begun. The table at which we were sitting began to revolve, first slowly and then rapidly.
You mustn't mind it, it's a kind of screw.
Quite so, a kind of screw. How simple that is. The next moment, we two, with our chairs and tables, shot down through the floor as if the earth had swallowed us. Gregory led me down a low, vaulted passage, at the end of which was a heavy iron door.
Who is it? Mr. Joseph Chamberlain.
It was obviously some kind of password. We stepped into a queer steel chamber whose walls were hung with dubious and dreadful shapes, things that looked like the bulbs of iron plants or the eggs of iron birds. They were bombs.
And now, my dear Mr. Syme, now we are quite cozy, so let us talk properly. You said you were quite certain I was not a serious anarchist. Does this place strike you as being serious?
It does seem to have a moral under all of its gaiety, but tell me, you have a heavy iron door. You cannot pass it without submitting to the humiliation of calling yourself Mr. Chamberlain. You surround yourself with steel instruments which make the place, if I may say so, more impressive than homelike. Why? After taking all this trouble to barricade yourself in the bowels of the earth, you then parade your whole secret by talking anarchism to every silly woman in Saffron Park.
The answer's simple. When first I became one of the new anarchists, I tried all kinds of respectable disguises. But at last, I went in despair to the president of the Central Anarchist Council, who is the greatest man in Europe.
Oh, what's his name?
You wouldn't know it. That is his greatness. He looked at me. You want a safe disguise, do you? I nodded. Why then, dress up as an anarchist, you fool. I took his advice and have never regretted it. I preached blood and murder to those women day and night, and by heaven they would let me wield their perambulators.
You took me in. What do you call this tremendous president of yours?
We call him Sunday. You see, there are 7 members of the Central Anarchist Council, and they're named after the days of the week. He is called Sunday by some of his admirers, Bloody Sunday. It's curious that you should mention the matter, because this very night, we've called a meeting to elect a successor to the post of Thursday. And I don't mind telling you that It's almost a settled thing that I am to be Thursday.
Gregory, I gave you a promise before I came to this place. Would you give me, for my own safety, a little promise of the same kind?
Promise?
Yes, a promise. I swore before God that I would not tell your secret to the police. Will you swear by humanity or whatever beastly thing you believe in that you will not tell my secret to the anarchists?
Your secret? Have you got a secret?
Yes, I have a secret. Will you swear?
Yes, I will swear not to tell the anarchists anything you tell me. But look sharp, they'll be here in a couple of minutes.
Well, Gregory, I don't know how to tell you the truth more shortly. By saying that your expedient of dressing up as an aimless poet is not confined to you or your president. We've known the Dodge for some time at Scotland Yard.
What do you say?
Yes, Gregory. I'm a police detective.
Joseph Chamberlain? Mr. Joseph Chamberlain.
It was repeated twice, and thrice, and then 30 times. And the crowd of Joseph Chamberlains, a solemn thought could be heard, trampling down the corridor. Here are your friends, Gregory.
Comrade Gregory, I suppose this man is the delegate?
The fact is, comrade, I have been specially sent here to see that you show a due observance of Sunday.
Well, comrade, I suppose we'd better give you a seat in the meeting.
Gregory, I could see, was in an agony of diplomacy.
Yes, I think it is time we began. The tug is waiting on the river. I move that Comrade Buttons take the chair. Second the motion! All in favor? Aye! Carried. Comrade by comrades. We all lament the sad decease of the heroic worker who occupied the post of Thursday in the Central Council until last week. He organized a great dynamite coup of Brighton, which under happier circumstances ought to have killed everybody on the pier. Upon you tonight, comrades, it devolves to choose out of the company present the man who shall be called Thursday. If any comrade suggests a name, I will put it to the vote.
I move that Comrade Gregory be elected Thursday.
Does anyone second?
Second the motion.
Before I put the matter to the vote, I will call on Comrade Gregory to make a statement.
Gregory rose. He must have figured out that his best chance was to make a softened and ambiguous speech, such as would leave in my mind the impression that the Brotherhood was a very mild affair after all.
My friends, there is the fact there. It is deep, deep under the earth that we, the persecuted, are permitted to assemble as the Christians assembled in the catacombs. Suppose we seem as shocking as the Christians because we are really as harmless as the Christians. Suppose we seem as mad as the Christians because we are really as meek. I am not meek. Comrade Witherspoon tells us that he is not meek. How little he knows himself. We are simple, as they were simple. Look at Comrade Witherspoon. We are modest, as they were modest. Look at me. We are merciful. No! We are merciful as the early Christians were merciful. Yet, this did not prevent their being accused of eating flesh. Now, we do not eat human flesh. Shame! Why not? Comrade Witherspoon is anxious to know why nobody eats him. In our society, at any rate, which loves him sincerely, which is founded on love. No, down with love! Which is founded on love. There will be no difficulty about the aims which we shall pursue as a body, or which I should pursue were I chosen as the representative of that body. Does anyone oppose the election of Comrade Gregory? Yes, the special delegate.
Have we come in for this? Comrades, we line these walls with weapons and bar that door with death. Lest anyone should come and hear Comrade Gregory saying to us, be good and you will be happy. Honesty is the best policy and virtue is its own reward. Comrade Gregory has told us that we are not the enemies of society. But I say that we are the enemies of society. And so much the worse for society! Hypocrites! Comrade Gregory accuses me of hypocrisy.
He knows as well as I do that I am keeping all my engagements and doing nothing but my duty. I do not mince words, I do not pretend to. We do not want the Supreme Council of Anarchy infected with a mortal mercy. Rather than have Gregory and his milk and water methods on the Supreme Council, I would offer myself for election.
Stop, you blasted! Stop! I move as an amendment that Comrade Syme be appointed to the post. Stop all this, I tell you. Stop it. It is all impossible.
I beg to second the election.
Comrades, I kneel to you. Do not elect this man. The question is that Comrade Syme be elected to the post of Thursday on the General Council.
And 3 minutes afterwards, Mr. Gabriel Syme of the Secret Police Service was elected to the post of Thursday on the General Council of the Anarchists of Europe. A moment later, I found myself somehow or other face to face with Gregory.
What a devil.
And you were a gentleman.
Comrade Thursday, the boat is quite ready.
Comrade Gregory, you've kept your word. You're a man of honor, and I thank you.
What do you mean? What did I promise you?
A very entertaining evening. My name is really Gabriel Syme. I'm not merely a detective who pretends to be a poet. I'm really a poet who has become a detective. I come of a family of cranks. One of my uncles always walked about without a hat. And another had made an unsuccessful attempt to walk about with a hat and nothing else. Being surrounded with every conceivable kind of revolt from infancy, I had to revolt into something, so I revolted into the only thing left, which was sanity. Now, some months before that evening in Saffron Park, I appeared before a high official in Scotland Yard. I was led to a side door, and almost before I knew what I was doing, I was suddenly shown into a room, the abrupt blackness of which startled me like a blaze of light.
Are you the new recruit? All right, you're engaged.
I really have no experience.
No one has any experience at the Battle of Armageddon.
But I'm really unfit.
You're willing, that is enough.
Oh, really? I don't know any profession of which mere willingness is the final test.
I do. Martyrs. I'm condemning you to death. Good day. Where my adventure ultimately led me, I've already told you. At about 1:30 on a February night, I found myself steaming on a small tug up the silent Thames, the duly elected Thursday of the Central Council of Anarchists. As we came alongside, the great stones of the embankment were big and black against the huge white dawn. I leapt out of the boat onto the slimy steps. The tug put off again and turned upstream. And I saw that there was a man leaning over the parapet and looking out across the river. And then the man smiled. And his smile was a shock. For it was all on one side, going up the right cheek and down on the left. The dark dawn and the deadly errand, and the loneliness and the great dripping stones. There was something unnerving in it. There was the silent river and the silent man. And there was the last nightmare touch, that his smile had suddenly went wrong.
If we walk up towards Leicester Square, we shall just be in time for breakfast. Sunday always insists on an early breakfast.
At one corner of Leicester Square, there projected the balcony of a prosperous but quiet hotel. The balcony contained a breakfast table, and round the breakfast table, glowing in the sunlight, were a group of noisy and talkative men, all dressed in the insolence of fashion. Here, then, was the secret conclave of the European dynamiters. Then, as I continued to stare at them, I saw something that I had not seen before, literally because it was too large to see. At the nearest end of the balcony, blocking up a great part of the perspective, was the back of a great mountain of a man. My first thought that the weight of him must break down the balcony of stone. This man was planned enormously in his original proportions, like a statue carved deliberately as colossal. His head crowned with white hair,
as seen from behind, looked bigger than a head ought to be. The ears that stood out from it looked larger than human ears. His sense of size was so staggering that when I saw him, all the other figures seemed quite suddenly to dwindle and become dwarfish. They were still sitting there as before with their flowers and frock coats. But now it looked as if the big man was entertaining 5 children to tea. I never thought of asking whether the monstrous man who almost filled and broke the balcony was the great President Sunday, whom the others had stood in awe. I knew it was so. As I walked across the inner room towards the balcony, the large face of Sunday grew larger and larger, and I was gripped with the fear that when he was quite close, the face would be too big to be possible, and that I would scream aloud. I remembered that as a child I would not look at the mask of Memnon or Rejunevated, because it was a face and so large. By an effort braver than that of leaping over a cliff, I went to an empty seat at the breakfast table and sat down. At that moment, the president was addressing a man, out of whose collar there sprang a bewildering bush of brown hair and beard that almost obscured the eyes, like those of a Skye terrier. The man's name, it seemed, was Gogol. He was a Pole. And in this circle of days, he was called Tuesday.
Our friend Tuesday insists on the ways of the stage conspirator. Now, if a gentleman goes about London in a top hat and frock coat, no one need know that he's an anarchist. But if a gentleman puts on a top hat and a frock coat and then goes about on his hands and knees, well, he may attract attention.
I am not good at concealment. I am not ashamed of the cause.
Yes, you are, my boy, and so is the cause of you.
I am not good at deception.
Right, my boy, right. You aren't good at anything.
As I looked at the others, I began to see in each of them exactly what I had seen in the man by the river. Each man was subtly and differently wrong. Next to me sat Tuesday, the tousle-headed Gogol. Next was Wednesday, a certain Marquis de Saint-Eustache. In the gloom and thickness of his beard, a dark red mouth showed sensual and scornful. Whatever he was not a Frenchman. Then came me, and next, a very old man, Professor de Worms, who was Friday. The red flower in his buttonhole showed up against a face that was literally discolored like lead. The whole hideous effect was as if some drunken dandies had put their clothes upon a corpse. And right at the end sat the man called Saturday. His name was Dr. Bull. There was nothing whatever odd about him except that he wore a pair of dark, almost opaque spectacles. And it occurred to me that his eyes might be covered up because they were too frightful to see. Such were the 6 men who had been sworn to destroy the world. Only 3 days afterwards, it appeared, the King of England was to meet the President of the French Republic in Paris. And over their bacon and eggs upon their sunny balcony, these beaming gentlemen had decided how both should die. Even the instrument was chosen. The black-bearded Marquis, it appeared, was to carry the bomb. Most of the talkers paid little attention to me, but the President was always looking at me steadily, and with a great and baffling interest. I was sure that in some silent and extraordinary way, Sunday had found out that I was a spy. Meantime, the men were eating as they talked. The Marquis took a great bite of bread and jam.
I have often wondered whether it wouldn't be better for me to do it with a knife. And it would be a new emotion to get a knife into a French president and wriggle it around.
You are wrong. The knife was merely the expression of the old personal quarrel with a personal tyrant. Dynamite is not only our best tool, but our best symbol. It expands. It also destroys because it broadens. And man's brain is a bomb. My brain feels like a bomb night and day. It must expand. It must expand. A man's brain must expand. If it breaks the universe.
I don't want the universe broken up just yet. I want to do a lot of beastly things before I die. I thought of one yesterday in bed.
The question, Benjamin, is how Comrade Wednesday is to strike the blow. As to the actual arrangement, I suggest that tomorrow he should go first of all.
Before we discuss that, I have something very particular to say.
The instant of choice had come at last. The pistol was at my head.
More speeches, more compromise.
Go. Sit down with the other gentlemen at this table. For the first time this morning, something intelligent is going to be said.
I sat down first. No one except me seemed to have any notion of the blow that was about to fall.
Comrades, we have spun out this farce long enough. We were discussing plans and naming places. I propose that those plans and places should be left only in the control of Comrade Stanley, not Bull. Not one word more about the plans and places must be said at this meeting.
They all moved feverishly in their seats, except me. I sat stiff in mine with my hand in my pocket and on the handle of my loaded revolver.
Gentlemen, there is a spy at this table. I will waste no more words. His name...
I half rose from my seat, my finger firm on the
His
trigger.
name is Gogol. He's that hairy humbug over there who pretends to be a Pole.
How in God's name did you
And now, my man, I gather that you fully understand your position.
You bet. I see it's a fair cop. All I say is I don't believe any Pole could have imitated my accent like I did his.
I concede the point. I believe your accent to be inimitable, so I shall practice it in my bar. Do you mind leaving your beard with your card?
Not a bit.
Tuesday, if you ever tell the police or any human soul about us, I shall have exactly 2.5 minutes of discomfort. On your discomfort, I will not dwell. Good day. Mind the step.
The detective who had masqueraded as Gogol rose to his feet without a word and walked out of the room with an air of perfect nonchalance. There was a slight stumble outside the door which showed that the departing detective had not minded his step.
Time is flying. I must get off at once. I have to take chair at a humanitarian meeting.
Would it not be better to discuss further the details of our project now than that the spy has left us?
Secretary, if you take your head home and boil it for a turnip, it might be useful. I can't say, but it might.
I really fail to understand.
You fail to understand? Why, you dancing donkey. You didn't want to be overheard by a spy, did you? How do you know you aren't overheard now?
With these words, Sunday shouldered his way out of the room, shaking with incomprehensible scorn. Now, if the last words of the president meant anything, they meant that I had, after all, not passed unsuspected. The other four got to their feet. They took themselves elsewhere to find lunch. Only the old anarchist, old Professor de Worms, remained behind, seated before me at the table.
Mr. Gabriel Sam.
Yes, Professor?
You policeman?
Policeman? Whatever made you think of a policeman in connection with me?
The process was simple enough. I thought you looked like a policeman. I think so now.
Why must I be a policeman? Do let me be a postman.
You hear me ask a plain question? You paltering spy. Are you or are you not the police detective?
No.
You swear it. If you swear falsely, will you be damned? Will you be sure that the devil dances at your funeral? Will you see that the nightmare sits on your grave? You are an anarchist. You are a dynamiter. Above all, you are not in any sense a detective. You are not in the British police.
I'm not in the British police. Professor de Worms fell back in his seat with a curious air of kindly collapse.
Well, that's a pity because I am.
Because you are what?
I am a policeman, a special policeman, and I serve under the man in the dark room.
The man in the dark room? I understand now. Of course. You're not an old man at all.
I can't take my face off here. It's rather an elaborate makeup. Did you know that that man Gogol was one of us?
No. But didn't you?
I knew no more than the dead.
Why, then there were 3 of us there. 3 of us sitting here out of 7. And it's a fighting number. If we'd only known that there were 3.
We were 3. If we'd been 300, we still could have done nothing.
Not if we were 300 against 4.
No, not if we were 300 against Sunday.
Professor, it's intolerable. Are you afraid of this man?
Yes, I am. So are you.
Yes, you're right. I am afraid of him. Therefore, I swear by God that I will seek out this man whom I fear until I find him and strike him on the mouth. If heaven were his throne and the earth his footstool, I swear that I would pull him down.
How? Why?
Because I'm afraid of him. And no man should leave in the universe anything of which he is afraid.
Have you any idea exactly what you're going to do?
Yes, I'm going to prevent this bomb being thrown in Paris.
Have you any conception how?
No.
You remember, of course, that when we broke up rather hurriedly, the whole arrangements for the atrocity were left in the private hands of the Marquis and Dr. Bull. The Marquis is by this time probably crossing the Channel.
The only man who knows where he's going is Dr. Bull.
Confound it, and we don't know where Bull is.
Yes. I know where he is.
Will you tell me?
I'll take you there.
What do you mean? Would you join me? Would you take the risk?
Young man, you think that it is possible to pull down the president. I know that it is impossible, and I'm going to try it.
Call your special attention to the new series of broadcasts by the Mercury Theater with Orson Welles as star and director, which will commence next Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. And now a brief pause for station identification. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Oh, well, that was a lot of fun. All right, stay back, they say. Stay back why? Why exactly should we stay back from whatever's in that pond? Yeah. I can think of a good reason. 'Cause it's a murderer. 'Cause it'll kill me if I get too close. Yeah. Yes, that is a good reason. Swan. Alright, let's keep your distance. Keep your distance there, buddy. Can I get close enough to get the fast travel point? Will that actually triggering? Swan? Look, I can't get any closer than that. If you're not going to give me the fast travel point, then I'm just going to have to bail. Alright. Alright, well that's you. That's fine. Welcome to the Freedom Trail. Hey, buddy!
7. And A. Some sort of code?
Some sort of code. Exactly right. Not a particularly good code, granted. But there you go. No, 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 no! Alright, well. Well, this is where we can hopefully find Nick Valentine. Question is, do I want to try to... I would be better off with more ammo, and I could probably get more ammo in Good Neighbor. Yeah, let's just see if we can make our way over there, because I'm crazy. Just take it nice and easy. Oh, that's Faneuil. That's the zombies. That's the zomzoms. Everybody? Okay. I don't think there are any more here, but we'll just kind of skip through and make sure we've got everybody. I don't remember you being in here. Oh yeah, I'm getting tired. it probably would be good for me to make my way into Good Neighbor if I can get there.
Two and A.
What am I hearing?
Hello? Is someone present?
What is that? Why am I hearing a robot? There shouldn't be robots over there.
You must be
Oh dear. That could be bad. Hello? Hello? I heard robot voice, and I heard shooting. Okay. Super mutant somewhere? Somewhere that I did not see?
I can hear you. I hear something.
Yes, you did. One of your friends getting shot in the chest. You know what? Move. Just
You have to come out sooner or later.
technically, no, I don't. Okay, Good Neighbor. All right. Just gonna be aware. Be aware of your surroundings. I think we're good.
I wanted a fight.
Yeah, well, all in good time, my precious. Okay. Safely made our way into Good Neighbor. That's good. And we get to meet both this fellow and the mayor. I like the mayor of Good Neighbor.
Hey, hold up there. First time in Good Neighbor?
Who, me?
You can't go walking around without insurance.
Oh no! What am I gonna do? Yeah, go ahead. Tell me your flim-flam.
Insurance. I'm listening.
That's right. Insurance. Personal protection, like. You hand over everything you got in them pockets, or accidents start happening to you. Big, bloody accidents.
Someone steps through the gate the first time, they're a guest. You lay off that extortion crap.
What do you care? He ain't one of us.
No love for your mayor, Finn. I said let him go.
You're soft, Hancock. You keep letting outsiders walk all over us. One day, there'll be a new man.
Come on, man. This is me we're talking about. Let me tell you something. Why'd you have to go and say that, huh? Breaking my heart over here.
Yeah.
You all right, brother?
Yeah, I'm fine, Mr. Mayor. I am just fine.
I'm fine. Thanks for taking care of him.
Good. Now don't let this incident taint your view of our little community. Good neighbors of the people, for the people. You feel me? Everyone's welcome.
I feel you.
Yeah, I feel you.
Good. You stay cool, and you'll be part of the neighborhood. So long as you remember who's in charge.
All right. Well, I might as well help myself to you. Oh, 4 those. I love those bullets. I could take the leathers because I can break those down, but I don't like leaving a naked corpse out on the patio here, so I'm just going to move on. Hey, how y'all doing? I'm going to switch over to my somewhat more charismatic gear here. And we'll see if we can do a little business. Yeah! Yeah! I do have grape mentats that I picked up. But, you know.
Well, hello. Everything here is guaranteed to injure, maim, or kill at your discretion. Except me. I only kill when I want to.
Well, that's good. I mean, I'd hate to think that you were killing against your will.
I'll take a look, sure.
A gun for every occasion.
Hey.
Huh?
Huh?
Don't have no handouts.
Deacon! How you doing, man? Deacon?
You're blocking my life, man.
What's up?
Get away.
Buddy, I need to be a lot
day,
more high or a lot more drunk to be bothered right
What a day, huh? Yeah, it is quite a day, Mr. Railroad Spy! Sorry.
Oh, new face walks into my store, and you're not even screaming yet. Very polite. You let me know if anything catches your fancy.
Well, why would I be screaming?
Did you say something about people screaming at you?
That's right. Some newcomers have never seen a ghoul before. Can't handle a friendly face, I say. So you need some supplies?
Sure.
Let's see what you have.
Remember, no returns, exchanges, or death threats.
No death threats? Aww. There. Okay. Well, that's pretty good.
Everyone's welcome and good neighbor.
I mean...
Even me.
Yeah, even you. Weirdo. So here we are in Good Neighbor, and I think I'm going to go ahead and end this part here. And logically, the place to do that is at the
You
Hotel
stick around,
Rexford.
you'll need to join a crew. I hear Bobby No-Nose is looking.
I am not
She's
interested.
cash with the No-Nose, but she pays.
Well, good for her. I'm not interested.
Fred, are you going to hang out in the lobby all day again, or are you actually going to go down and do some work?
Maybe, probably not.
Before you even start, let's get to the point. We have rooms, one room specifically. Payment due up front.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Here's your money.
The room is on the top floor. When you come to the hallway, it's the last one on the right.
Okay, good to know. Thanks. We're gonna get some sleep. Okay, well, I guess this is my room, so I guess I'll go ahead and hit the hay and, it'll be alright. Next time we'll see if we can get a armor workbench and see if we have the materials needed to put a little bit of ballistic fiber into my hazmat suit here. Although technically I could wear something else while going on the mission to rescue Nick, because that all occurs in the vault. So I wouldn't be exposed to outside radiation. That's something to think about as well. So until next time, this has been Jim at the Mid-Nite Drive-Thru saying thank you and drive through. And thanks for watching. You know, if you have people paying for a room, the least you can do is put some sheets on the bed. Come on. Ugh.